What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 4 of the Restored Geeks Podcast. My name is Tristan.
I'm Chandler. I'm Jessica.
Yes, sir! Let's get into gaming. So, what games have y'all been playing this week? I guess I'll start with mine. I played through, I got through the first boss, I guess, of Clair Obscure Expedition 33. It was, I forgot what, it started with an E.
Yeah.
It was a floating magician.
Throws, spikes out of the
I hate that. My anxiety trying to block those is, I hate that. Also, like, do you get kind of aggravated whenever an enemy walks up to you and goes?
Yeah, that's the delayed attacks. That will be in my difficulty video.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to that game, because I know it's annoying in Elden Ring, but when it comes to that game, what do you think about that? Is it annoying to you in that one, or what?
It is annoying, but I can't say it's bad because even Thousand Year Door does that.
Yeah, it does. I guess in turn-based RPGs, it's not because you're supposed to riposte and all that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Elden Ring and you're trying to dodge and all, and especially when they have tracking and they can 360.
Yes. Yeah.
It's incredibly annoying. I like, and for anybody listening, I like Elden Ring, the base game, except for the final third of it. I do not like Shadow of the Erdtree, so yeah, that's the reason why I brought up Elden Ring. But yeah, I've played that. I'm now in the underwater, except not really underwater level.
Yeah.
So I fought a couple enemies there. The game is really, really artistically, like, just creative. I like it. It's very high quality so far, so I highly recommend it, and I'm definitely going to be playing through it. So
yeah, there's a reason it's artistically, but you're not there yet.
Yeah. It's definitely strange in the sense that why is there a underwater but not really underwater level? I also like the world map. You can fight things in the world map. Like, there's enemies in there.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing...
Actually, I'll save you for last.
Well,
I'll save him for last because he has an actual game to talk about.
Oh, nice.
Technically so do I, but mine will be quick. I played through a lot more of Dune Awakening, which I think the game's great. I just wish these game companies would stop forcing me into PvP if I want to actually do things.
Yeah, exactly. I'm tired of things always being online.
Yeah.
Always a live service.
Because Dune Awakening would have been absolutely phenomenal if there was like a solo server thing that you can just play alone in, like how Ark does it.
Yep.
But no, I'm forced into PvP with these dudes, so I've been avoiding the PvP, which means I'm locked out of most of the game, so...
Yeah.
That annoys me.
Nice. Did you get eaten by any sandworms?
Yes, I did.
Nice. Do they like come out the ground and just swallow you?
Yes.
That's terrifying. Because they're pretty intimidating in the movies. So.
Yeah.
But what's his name rides one? Can you ride one?
No.
What? That sucks. That's lame. Or is it just the Messiah dude that can ride them?
No, they can ride them in the movie.
Okay.
And then I've been playing a good bit of Mario Kart on my brand new Switch 2.
You want to confess and repent for...
I bought a Switch 2, and I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart.
For your sins against the gaming community on buying the Switch 2 and paying for $80 for a game.
Actually,
I paid 80.
Last week about the regular one and then bought the...
Oh. Nintendo got all of us in their pocket, and games are now going to be $80 to $90. Great. Or $100. If GTA 6 goes through with the $100 things, they would definitely go up to $100.
Well, apparently, Sony's actually lowering their prices.
I'll believe that when I see that. I don't trust Sony on any of that.
Sony does that, that'll be a W.
Do you believe Sony's going to do that?
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly. But if they do it, that's a W right there. Because they're just like Nintendo raising their prices, and so maybe Xbox are going to be the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like Dune Awakening, I've made like no progress, and same with Mario Kart and all that because I've just been working.
Yeah, Mario
friggin' week.
Yeah, that Mario Kart's fun. It is. It's got a lot of cool stuff to it, especially that you actually drive to the area.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's just screw you, Nintendo, for raising prices and your scummy crap. For whatever reason, you are the simultaneously the worst and best gaming company on the planet, and it's frustrating.
Yeah. No.
Because on one hand, they don't come out with anything unless it's top quality. But on the other hand, their business practices are scummy and anti-consumer. And it's so weird. Anyway, what have you been playing, Joseph?
So I've been playing, of course, I've been playing Fortnite and playing.
Go on, say the word.
Huh?
What level are you in Fortnite?
I've played since we
last played?
Yeah.
Good.
You're probably high, aren't you?
I gained a few levels.
Of course.
Go on, say it. Say the word.
We actually have not touched Destiny.
Lies.
Didn't we do the dungeon?
Yeah, we did the dungeon on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Bro, it's lies.
That's all we did. That's all we did was just do the dungeon. And then this coming up Tuesday will be every dungeon, so we'll probably do that.
Bro. Y'all just,
If he's available.
y'all
I'm
just,
working Tuesday, Wednesday, and probably Thursday, so it probably won't be till
I
Friday.
know there's a Bible verse about a dog returning to its vomit.
Mm.
Yes. There's a Bible verse about a dog returning to I think it's a proverb. It's about somebody returning to their sin. That's y'all with Destiny.
And and also been playing Fallout 4.
Fallout 4 is pretty good. Fallout 4.
Playing that.
Hey, did you know another settlement needs your help?
Feel like I'm about to pull out the BFG and just blow.
You do, and he will follow you to the end of the map. Was it you? Did he follow you, Chandler, to the glowing sea? Yeah. You saw a silhouette coming in the background. It's like, no.
But then I also played a game that came out yesterday called Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. A new Five Nights at Freddy's, or part of Five Nights at Freddy's lore. Everything came out. It was better than Security Breach. The release of it was way better than Security Breach, because as we know of Security Breach was a mess when it came out. But since this game is almost kind of...
It also wasn't horror.
Yeah.
Well, what was it then? Puzzle?
It was supposed to be horror, but it was not horror.
It was not horror. It was just a walking around simulator.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Boring.
This one was way more creepier than Security Breach. Way more. And I need to now get the secrets of the game and actually figure out what the true story of the game is. But
it is, in my opinion, it is near impossible to make a horror game be simultaneously scary and get like the E for everyone rating.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
What is Secret of the Mimic?
It's probably T.
T.
And even then, it's still very difficult to make it a horror.
It's not really that much of horror. Like I said, it's just creepy because you'll just be in one area and you'll be like, all right, which one of these mascots are about to move and try and kill me? Because
T for team.
Because the part of the thing of the game is that there's a robot called a Mimic that can possess any suit and can basically take the form of that suit. So there's millions of suits just everywhere, so you're just looking around like, which one of you all want to move? And then you just walk by one and also just grabs you and then jump scares you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is creepier, but I will say the company that's got a hold of FNAF right now, they're very bad at making horror games because there's no ambiance that's actually scary. And especially with like Security Breach, the neon lighting took away a lot of the scare.
Oh yeah. That's why I say I really like this one, because there's more darkness.
Well, is it good? You can make one. What is it? Ori and the Blind Forest or something like that? Where it might have been that game. I don't know. I might be wrong.
I thought that was just an adventure game.
No, there's a indie game that its whole thing is that it's very colorful and happy looking on the surface, not the happy. I know that you were thinking about that. No, this is a different one, but its whole thing is that below the surface, it's...
Oh, yeah, that's Ori.
Ori, okay, yeah.
But I wouldn't call that a horror game.
Oh,
because it's
more
not
like an
really
adventure?
scary.
more like an adventure game. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's kind of like how I'd call Limbo, because Limbo's technically considered a horror game, as not
Yeah.
really horror. A good game that does horror pretty well, that is rated T for teen, is Little Nightmares,
Yeah.
because that one's actually pretty freaky. But the biggest thing when it comes to horror is ambiance,
Yes. Yeah.
and when you're lacking a lot of ambiance, it takes away the scares. Like friggin' Security Breach typically had thumping music and neon lights.
Yeah. The only time that was actually really creepy was going down in the basement where there was just nothing, just pure silence and everything like that.
Because if you want to talk about colorful and still being creepy, FNAF Sister Location.
Yeah.
Because it was still colorful, but crawling through Bellora's friggin' room is still one of the most terrifying experiences that I've watched. I didn't play it, but I've watched on YouTube.
Yeah.
But what about the dollhouse in Resident Evil 8?
That's immature.
Yeah, because you got a big old fetus coming after you.
That's genuine horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do like T for teen or E for everyone rated horror.
Yes. I'd say T for teen is hard and E for everything's near impossible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Now, there have been a couple extremely good, almost E for everyone rating ones. I don't know the name of this game, but there was this very short indie game that you play as basically a delivery, like they're all animals, and you play as like this baker who delivers their stuff, and then you have to go into the dark forest to get things.
is that the one that you made me play?
I don't know that I made you play.
It's like they're all animals.
They're all animals, but then you go to the forest, and the enemy in the forest is a glitch. It's glitched out like barcodes and textures, and then it eventually leaves the forest, and when it does, you get a phone call from one of the animals that says, "Hey, I would like a delivery right now. Could you come by the house?" And then you're like, "Oh, okay." And you go by the house, and it don't say a word. Immediately when you get close to the thing, it just starts screeching, and the animal starts chasing you.
Yeah.
And you're running out of town, and everyone's coming out of the houses chasing you. There's no blood, none of that. So it's almost E for everything rating, but it's absolutely terrifying with the ambiance.
It kind of reminds you of I can't remember the game. Ian.
There's another one that's now this one is probably immature. There was another one that could be considered T for teen, but you basically, it starts off you playing as a deer, and you like go around eating apples and stuff like that, and then suddenly it cuts to you playing a hunter in there, and then you find out that the deer you were playing as is a skinwalker, and the apples you're eating are people in the forest.
Nice.
And then it turns into like a hunting game where you gotta hunt down the skinwalker.
It reminds me of the Lava one.
See, this is why I like the indie scene,
Yeah.
because they come out with cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why indie just rolls overall.
And I have been a perpetuator of this. FNAF can be terrifying, but they have got to let go of it. Also has to be kid friendly.
Yeah.
Guys, if they get rid of that, FNAF can be terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It pretty much all started with kids wanting to watch Five Freddy stuff, and then all of a sudden it was like, we need to go for that audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Mimic, it was good. It was way better than Security Breach, in my opinion, and it was creepy. It was actually really creepy.
The beginning of it is also very Outlast 1, because you have to like find your way into the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it starts with you driving up, listening to or talking to somebody over the phone, and then you drive up to the location, then you have to get out and then find your way into the building. That's very Outlast 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The story right now, even the lore right now, as much as I've heard and everything, it's also creepy and weird.
Is it worth your $60 coupon you got? Your $60 restaurant coupon?
No. Because
At the very beginning, the guy on the phone is like, "Thank you for coming out here and accepting this job finally." And then the guy on the thing, he's like, "You threatened to cut my pay and repossess my truck. I didn't have a choice." And the guy goes, "Ha ha, you're so funny." And then he's like, "Get in there and then do what we need you to do. And that $60 restaurant coupon is all yours."
Yeah.
the thing, even spoilers, or for some reason I'm not spoilers for it. Even at the end, no matter what, unless it's a secret ending, and I haven't got the secret one, but the two endings, no matter what, you get a crash and the mimic basically kills you. So
This
was it worth it?
No, it's in the main storyline, and it continues to build on my theory that the real mastermind behind all this is the guy on the phone, because it's always that same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's even in Sister Location.
Yeah.
And I'm about 90% sure these are all experiments to create some sort of like super soldier or something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Oh, yeah.
this is a podcast. This is not the FNAF theory crafting podcast, because we'll be here for hours.
So you do know that Michael
Purple guy is William Afton.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, we all knew that.
Yes.
No, I had a guy at work. I told Joseph or Tristan about it. His name is Draven. We were talking about FNAF one day, and he said something about Sister Location, and I said, "Yeah, you mean like how Michael Afton started all this because he killed his own daughter on purpose?" And then before I could continue talking, he went, "Thank you! So many people seem to think it was an accident. It wasn't."
Bruh.
Like, jeez, man.
Reading me, William.
Yeah. Shoulda.
Michael's the brother.
Yeah. He was the one who burned the place down in Pizzeria Simulator. He's the one talking at the end saying this is the end.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. Because then you go into security breach.
And then now just
And then now the Mimic.
let's go.
The Mimic, the reason I got so hard on that concept of a Mimic basically being able to take over any of the suits, that concept is terrifying, especially for someone like Mark who hates mannequins.
Yeah.
It would be terrifying. My issue was when I was watching it, the ambiance was off. It felt off. Like that part where you were out in an open area and this big old friggin' fat elephant looking thing just comes barreling through around, and I'm just like, this isn't terrifying, it's goofy.
At first it scared me, but then I was like, all right, get around you, boy. No, the creepy part. The creepy part is
Do you have something you want to say?
No, I'm waiting, like, because I haven't played any of these, so I'm waiting y'all to get done so I can move on to the...
I was gonna say that the chasing parts are creepy.
Yeah.
When you're actually getting chased by the main boss like type of.
And before we move on, no, I do not think every game needs to be friggin' Evil Within 2 blood gore nonsense either.
No, because then we'll get an Outlast 2 situation, and no, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Because that game swung way too much. It's like they took all the things that people were like, we thought that Outlast 1 was as good as it was because gore and disturbing, and they decided to make a whole game off that.
Nah, Outlast 1 had meticulously crafted areas which made it creepy.
Yeah.
Outlast 2, the chase sequences were just the entire game.
Yeah, it was hold down shift and move and W, and that's about it.
Yeah, the only scary parts of Outlast 2 was the school.
Yeah, yes, that should have been Outlast 2. Was the Catholic school. That's what that should have been.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yes. You're done with it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said he needed to go last.
Yeah. So, we'll move on to gaming news. And so, for gaming news this week, so there's been a whole thing about this game called Mind's Eye. Yeah, you know about that?
Oh, I know all about this.
Yeah, so apparently, like, Build a Rocket Boy CFO and Chief Legal Officer resigned before the release of it. Wait.
It went through development hell and is awful. It was made by one of the lead designers of GTA.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
but the game itself is just dog water.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It was revealed during Games Fest, whatever it was, the Summer Games Fest. And it was revealed to be coming out this week, and people were excited for it. Then they got their hands on it.
Yeah.
It's another Cyberpunk situation.
Where it's like broken and on play. Yeah. Yeah. Stop coming out with your games unless it's completely polished. And stop giving a release date for them
Yep.
if you can't make it.
Exactly.
Like we said before, just once you know that it's all good and ready to go, then post your
Start announcing your game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. Like stuff. Yeah.
Like, why was The Witcher 4 announced last year when it's not coming out to 2027 at the earliest?
Yeah, and it won't be surprised if it's still buggy when it comes out.
Stop announcing your games like that.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we brought up the Switch 2 came out. Apparently there's been a debacle with some GameStop's locations who were stapling the receipts on top of the box, piercing the screens.
Yeah, I heard this.
Wow.
Wow.
I would.
Now, is that a problem with them, or is that a problem with Nintendo's packaging?
No, that's them.
That's the GameStop?
That's 100% GameStop. There's no reason to shoot a staple through a box that has an electronic device in it.
Does not need to happen. Why?
I got the Switch.
I was supposed to say, have we ever heard of tape?
Yeah, exactly.
When I bought the Switch I bought the Switch. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
I bought the Switch, and I got the package, and I opened it up. It is packaged perfectly with absolute precision to keep it like perfectly in the smallest package possible.
Okay.
Which is nice. So you wouldn't shoot a staple through your
cardboard
box. If you shot one through a box the TV came in, you're genuinely stupid.
Yeah, I'd be mad.
No, so this is not Nintendo. Because the package came... if the consoles were breaking in the packaging, then that's Nintendo. But the consoles are getting here just fine, and it's being pierced by a staple put by GameStop.
They better be refunding these.
There's another debacle I found out about, but apparently there's people buying them, taking the Mario Kart World code out, and then returning it to get their full money back. They get their money back, then they buy the regular one to save $50 and still have the code. So when somebody comes and buys the Mario Kart World bundle, they don't even get Mario Kart with it.
That's terrible. Good Lord. You gotta love the modern state of gaming. It's such a dystopia. So our glorious Randy Pitchford.
Oh, darn, I was going to say Todd Howard.
Over at Gearbox touted that Borderlands 3 was actually better than 2.
Bruh. Randy, you're wrong.
And that Borderlands 4 will surpass both.
Bruh. I mean,
I doubt it.
I'm kind of hoping, but I doubt it.
Man, Borderlands 4 does look good in my opinion, but...
Yeah.
But... 3 better than 2?
Yes. Yeah.
Randy? So you snuffing the space dust again?
Yes. So you're saying that the cringe live streamers are worse than Handsome Jack?
The only one thing about Borderlands 3 that's better than 2 is the gunplay.
Yes.
Everything else, booty cheek.
You're saying that Handsome Jack is better than the live streamers?
Yes.
I'll pay you off your debt.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, there is one other aspect of Borderlands 3, I would say. At least the DLCs to Borderlands 3, never mind. I was going to say, I don't think any of them are a miss, but there's literally one about solely centered around Hammerlock being gay, so never mind.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Ain't the second one to where we also got Tiny Tina, or it's the first one?
It's the second one where we got Dragon's Keep, the best DLC.
The best
it ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they tried to make that into a game and failed.
So, next up, we have...
That's because they went into the wrong aspects of Tina.
Oh.
Yeah.
They made it cringe.
Yeah. So they flanderized Tina?
Yeah.
I made Villain wants to know if you want a Reese cup.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now, Borderlands 2, the ending, is that the one with the dragon?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
The warrior.
Yeah. Is that Handsome Jack's like pet or something? Or is that Handsome Jack? I haven't played it.
All right, put set aside about an hour or so. I can tell you the story to get to it.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Okay.
I know. They're your like
Okay,
favorite games. So
Fine. Long story short, no, it is an Iridian warrior set there to be used against
guard the vault.
to be used against other creatures on Pandora if it was needed before it got retconned in 3.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the warrior is just there to be used by the Iridians or whoever has the key. Jack fights for the key so that he can use it to wipe out the planet and then take complete control of Pandora.
Oh, nice. Don't you love it when stories go on for too long and retcon what they set up?
Yeah, everything about 1 and 2 is retconned in 3.
Nice. Next up we have Outer Worlds 2 is coming out sometime.
I don't
And
care.
yeah, and it's got an $80 plus price point because of course it does.
I don't care. After Outer Worlds 1 and Avowed, I'm starting to realize that maybe Obsidian needed Bethesda more than they thought.
Maybe I'm starting to think Obsidian captured lightning in a bottle with
New
Vegas because
3.
you know what that saying means?
Yeah, I know.
Like it's like beginner, it's like luck. Like you just so happen to come out with something that
Yeah.
you accidentally came out with something that's a masterpiece.
The only Obsidian can do that I know of now is Grounded.
Now I didn't think Outer Worlds 1 wait
Obsidian, please remove my slander. I just said cut this from the video. And you're my favorite company. Please continue.
Wait, they made Grounded?
Grounded 2.
Oh, I didn't know they made Grounded. Well, I don't think Outer Worlds 1 was bad. It was just mid. It was like...
Please continue working on Grounded 2. Ignore his slander.
Okay, fine. Fine. Fine.
Maybe stop production on Outer Worlds and just cancel it and then put all your production into Grounded 2.
Yes. But yeah, like, Outer Worlds 1, I thought it was mid. I didn't think it was bad or good. It was just...
No, I didn't think it was bad or good either. Avowed
wasn't that garbage when it came out?
Avowed is horrendous.
Yeah. That came out last year or the year before?
No, last year.
Last year, yeah.
Wait, no. Didn't it come out like earlier this year?
I think so, yeah.
It did.
Yeah. But, no, I played quite a bit of Avowed, and it's not a bad game. It's horrendous for Obsidian standard if you compare it to
Yeah. New
Vegas.
Well, I mean, most RPGs are terrible standard when you compare it to Fallout New Vegas.
Because at least Outer Worlds kept some of like the build crafting from New Vegas.
Mhm.
Avowed streamlined it.
Interesting.
And then Avowed story is duty cheek.
Yeah.
And its character design is duty water.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
No, Outer Worlds was pretty cool because you could just get on the ship, turn straight around, shoot the old guy in the head, and then you get credits.
Yeah. Yep.
Or you go to the world and you kill Galaxy Head dude, and then you get credits.
Yeah,
It turns out he was like, what was it? Like he's the main villain this whole time.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just great value Fallout is what it was, basically. Like, that's all I can say about it. It was definitely a game of all time.
Now, some people may clap back at us and be like, well, Fallout New Vegas is jank. I don't care.
Fallout New
We're
Vegas.
not talking about the jank.
Yeah, like,
Talking about-
when we call something a masterpiece, we're not saying it's perfect, because there is no such thing as a perfect thing coming out of an imperfect human.
Yeah.
What we mean is how strong are the major strengths of it that it can forgive the other things.
Yeah.
And I do think that Fallout New Vegas' strengths forgive its jankiness.
Yeah, I still want to replay it and do some rant. Okay, I cannot do a biblical analysis as a whole. I will have to break it down.
There are about 100 things you can do a biblical analysis on in Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I could have a whole 2-hour biblical analysis on why secluding yourself in a bunker is wrong.
yeah.
Wait, what do they call it? Crap. The bombers.
Yeah.
Bombers.
You could have a whole 4-hour one on Caesar and his whole
Yeah,
system.
and have the whole, dude, that would be like 5 hours long talking about Mr. House and his plan to take over the Mojave.
Yeah.
How about our boy,
Finding out that Mr. House is one of the perpetrators who started the nuclear fallout so that he could take over.
Yep. And we also got to talk about our boy, from Honest Heart.
Okay, I gotta take back Tiny Tina DLC is not the best DLC ever made. I would have to give that to the Fallout New Vegas, the casino one.
I don't really know.
Well, okay, no, I'd say they're pretty on par with each other.
Yeah.
I don't really know about Fallout New Vegas DLC. I've only played Fallout New Vegas for a little while, and then
Yeah, because you're a plebeian who had to go back to Fortnite.
But
You gotta log on, put in your punch card each day, do your dailies.
I played Fallout 4.
But back to the masterpiece thing. Like for instance, I think Bloodborne is a masterpiece, but it is not perfect. It has Rom the vacuous spider and stuff like that. But its strengths outweigh its weaknesses greatly. Then for the last one I have, Activision did an oopsie, according to them, where they had loadout ads. They had ads that popped up while people were going through their loadouts in COD.
That's not an oopsie.
And but they quick after a backlash, they quickly took it off and basically was like it was a trial test that accidentally went live.
Bruh.
Activision just claimed that you messed up and wanted to put ads in your loadouts, which yes, we rejected it because we don't want that. We don't want this dystopia where we get ads on everything that we do. Please stop.
And then I need to pay for ad blocks.
I swear, Cyberpunk 2077 is a warning, not fiction. We are heading in that direction. Honestly, it's.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
I do have another one, just a side mention. Another thing that got announced at Summer's Games Fest is a new Xbox handheld.
Yeah.
Called the Asus ROG Ally, something like that.
No,
and it's being partnered with Steam, so you can actually play your Steam games on an Xbox handheld. And I'm about 90% sure Sony is not happy about it because that means you can play, you could technically play God of War and all that on an Xbox console.
Yeah.
And then they showed off Silksong on it, and Silksong still doesn't have a release date. You absolute MFers. Why do you keep pulling me along like this?
Yes.
Where is Silksong?
No.
I know these two don't care because they didn't play Hollow Knight, but...
No, but
I've always wanted to.
Yeah, I wanted to, though. It literally looks like a high-quality indie game. I think the one... Oh, no, the one I'm thinking of is Shovel Knight. I played that one. That was pretty good.
Yeah, they announced something else in Summer Games Fest as well. Some random lady no one cares about came on stage.
Resident Evil 9? We talked about that last week.
No.
Oh.
She worked on Shovel Knight. I forget what they announced.
I have no idea.
Mina the Hollower. It's supposed to be a very retro style game.
Okay.
Kind of like the old...
So they announced that at Summer Games Fest? Cool.
Like the very old first Zeldas.
Yeah. Cool. We'll see how it goes. Is that it for gaming?
That's for a game.
All right. And that is all we have for gaming. We now go into movies. Have any of y'all watched a movie? Oh, yeah, we did watch one. And the only one I watched is the one that we got our biblical analysis on. So, yeah, I'll let you all take it from here.
You watch any movies?
Nope.
Okay. I watched a movie with Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Yesterday. The day before yesterday.
Okay.
And it has really good reviews. It has 94% on Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes. It's called Sinners.
Oh, y'all watched that. Interesting.
So I thought, okay, I'm just going to get it out of the way. Movie is good and decent.
Yeah.
Outside of its absolutely horrendous message.
Okay. What's his message?
So the movie is about, in quotations, vampires. The movie is actually about cultural appropriation.
Okay. Yeah.
And it portrays the vampires as being white people basically trying to steal away from black people and take their culture away.
Yeah.
And parasitically through vampirism, turn them into us.
Nice.
That's basically what the movie is. They end up the black people end up. They're called the twins. I'm just gonna call them the twins because it's the same actor, Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Played both of them.
Yeah.
And they end up buying
Killmonger is who's in it. Or not. Well, it's also what's his name? Who gets shot in The Wire, but he's real young in that.
But he they come back from Chicago. They are gangsters. They were working for Al Capone. It takes place during that time.
Nice.
They come back during the Prohibition. They have a ton of beer from Al Capone because that's what the whole Al Capone's thing was.
Mm-hmm.
They come back, they buy a barn, and then they set up this big club, and it's supposed to be a blacks-only club, and they're doing blues and all of that. And there's one guy at the very beginning, he lives, and this is why I say the message is really bad. It lumps Christianity into cultural appropriation, saying that the Christian faith is fake and it's being perpetrated by the white man.
Yeah.
And this is an actual part of the movie because the son, one of the main characters is the son of a preacher who tells him not to go, but he goes anyway because he wants to sing the blues.
Yeah.
And he goes to that, and the main vampire who's supposed to also be the devil himself is a white guy.
I may need to watch it. We may need to do a biblical analysis just on that, too.
Okay.
So we may do that sometime in the future. So
yeah, and then long story short, they end up beating him, and then the kid goes back to his father.
Yeah, because what you're bringing up is something that I can sit and talk for a while on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the kid goes back to his father, who's the preacher, and this father says, drop the guitar and then come to God.
Yeah, so it's not cultural appropriation, it's legalism they're fighting against.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then
But they're throwing it as cultural appropriation, which is just not true.
He says the movie portrays like the black people, like jazz and all that stuff, the blues and all that, as being something that cannot be compatible with God. Because it says, drop the guitar, and then the kid refuses to drop the guitar, and he just leaves, leaving God behind, and then he goes and does his own thing. And then at the end of the movie, the vampires show back up and all of that. But yeah, the main theme of the movie is basically black people, and I'm gonna keep saying that, but it's bluegrass, black culture, and all that having to be separate from white people and not be consumed by our vampirism. Basically, it's being portrayed by vampirism.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a bit of truth in that because we as of white people in our country, we do have a problem with taking colonizing other cultures and taking them and then taking some of the things of their culture and then claiming that it's ours. I mean, there's nothing more cringe than walking across a white dude that acts like he's black. But I do think that some of this messaging goes way too far, especially
because I didn't really care about the messaging.
Yeah.
When I first saw that he was going to go play in the beginning, because it immediately starts with the preacher dude telling him not to go because the devil will come after him.
Mm-hmm.
From there, I knew the message was going to be bad, but I left hope that maybe at that final scene he would drop the guitar. Not drop the guitar, or somehow bring together the thought that God and this could go together.
Yes, yeah.
But he doesn't. Instead, it continues to go off of this tangent that God and Christianity has just been parasitically thrown upon black people through the white man.
Through the white man, despite the fact that it started in the Middle East and God, or Jesus was not white. So,
but again, off of that topic, since we're going to do probably a full biblical analysis on this,
we'll do that
because it's a lot deeper than we thought it was going to be.
Well, we can have a whole discussion on
the movie. Is good. I do think it was a fun watch. It's funny at times. We had to skip a couple scenes. It was gross at times.
Yes.
but I still think it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I just really dislike its message.
Wait, you said you didn't watch any?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the movie that I watched is the one we got our biblical analysis on, so I'll move on to the movie news. Which I only have one. A Phasmophobia film is apparently in the works. Blumhouse, who makes, horror movies, is coming out with it. Since it's Blumhouse, I don't really expect it to be anything spectacular, because Blumhouse is known for just kind of farting out horror movies left and right, just when they want to, kind of to make money and all that. And most of them are mid. Some of them are trash. Every now and I can't really think of one that's like even great or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I don't expect this to be anything other than just kind of like a cash grab, mid at best horror movie. So I will eat my words and admit that I'm wrong if it turns out to actually be great. So but we'll see when that comes out. All right, from there I guess we'll move on to TV shows.
Oh.
I guess we'll start off with you, Joseph. What TV shows have you been watching this week?
And let me go look at what it was called again.
You got your weekly animes. Let's go.
I only got one, but I watched one anime called The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows.
Nice. So we know that he's got a new life in the shadows now. Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Cool.
It's just about a healer that's actually very powerful. That's it.
Nice. Anything else?
Nope, that was it.
What about you, Chandler? You watching any TV shows? No?
Have not. I watched the order screen at work.
Well, yeah, you have. You've watched...
We watched some Severance.
Yeah, we watched two more episodes
I
of
thought you were going to say that, so...
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess we'll talk about it when I bring it up. But so for me, I guess I'll start off. I watching Breaking Bad on my Blu-ray disc. I have the whole box set of that and Better Call Saul on Blu-ray.
No, you're doing it wrong.
What?
You got to watch Better Call Saul to season 5, then watch Breaking Bad all the way through.
Yes,
and then
I'm actually going to be watching them almost in tandem, kind of like back to back. Because I'm watching Breaking Bad just kind of as, just for like fun.
Yeah.
Right now, but Better Call Saul, I on our Dorathion channel, I'm actually going to come out with a 6-part series, doing an analysis on each season. So, what did you want to do that?
I'm just gonna keep breaking it into a series, and I'm gonna upload this hour-and-a-half long difficulty video.
Oh no, that's fine for you because it's just one thing. I'm wanting to do kind of like almost like a kind of like what Random Film Talk and all them do, where they have almost like 2 to 3 hour analysis going through the entire continuity of a season or something. So I'm going to, part 1 will be season 1.
So it's not going to be 2-minute or 12-minute video.
No, it's going to be
long video.
It's probably going to be anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours.
So you're just doing exactly what I've been working on with The Walking Dead.
Yeah. If you want to come out with if you want to do a whole 11 seasons, yeah, you can do that too. Mine, I will probably be doing that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be a short video of me just trashing it. 6, 7, and 8, and I may quit there.
3 and 4 are the best seasons in the Walking Dead, in my opinion.
They are.
Because you have the judge, not the judge.
Governor.
The judge is freaking blood meridian.
Yeah, that dude is
that's probably the most
Satan incarnate.
That's probably the most evil villain in all of fiction.
He literally just walks into a random church service, accuses the dude of he saw him sleeping with someone else's wife.
Mm-hmm.
So then the person who he was accusing him of sleeping with stands up and shoots the preacher, and then someone shoots him, and it just gets into a gunfight to where there's only 13 people left alive, blood everywhere, and they literally walk up to him and say, "How'd you know he was sleeping with him?" And he's like, "I didn't." And they're like, "And why'd you say that?" He said, "It's funny."
Yeah, that's probably the most evil villain in all of fiction. Just warning if you got to read that book. That book is so bad. It's so bad in content that nobody has been able to get it greenlit to. Go watch Wendigoon's video on it. Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna be coming out with a 6-part series. I'll probably be doing that for the rest of the week. I mean, rest of the year, because I'm gonna try to come out with each part like in each month. So it'll be like July, August, September, all that.
Yep.
I've also got ideas for like kind of shorter videos to come out like in between them too. But yeah, I've been watching Breaking Bad, and I'm going to be watching Better Call Saul in tandem with it. Yeah, Breaking Bad is just, it's a powerhouse of writing, of just good writing. Like I don't think there's a single episode throughout that show that doesn't make you feel uncomfortable and on edge because of like just how intense it is. It is even in the smaller moments when like Walt is just talking to Skylar. And the underlying thing is that he's doing stuff he doesn't want to be doing. Like, he shouldn't be doing. Shouldn't be doing.
That's his big arc towards the end, is realizing he did do it for himself.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Admitting.
Yeah. I'm on season 2, by the way. I just got past the part where Tuco gets into Jesse's car, and then they show up to Walt's house. And then he made Walt get in the car with him and drive off. That's where I got to. So, yeah. And Hank's an idiot. Hank is like completely clueless on stuff. When it comes
so many hints that he was given.
Yeah. But then it all comes together while he's sitting on the toilet.
And reading a book.
Yes. But yeah, it's fantastic.
I do a lot of thinking while I'm pooping.
Yes. But yeah, it's fantastic. We need to just have Vince Gilligan write everything from now on, because him and his writers are.
Hey, can you, Vince Gilligan, rewrite season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones?
Yes. Well, I mean, honestly, you probably have to go all the way back to season 4 and just rewrite everything from there if you do that. But yeah, him and his writers, they are really good at keeping things consistent, and that's what I'm going to showcase with the Better Call Saul series. On that, because like with Breaking Bad, I think Breaking Bad is better in terms of stakes and how intense it gets, but Better Call Saul I think has better writing in the sense of how they were able to make a daggone law drama be interesting for the first 3 seasons, and then build up to Lalo in the final 3 seasons. It's really good. So yeah. Be coming out with that. And then we watched episodes 3 and 4 of season 1 of Severance. Well, what do you think about those, Shelley?
I think they're good.
Yeah.
I think the show's pretty good so far.
Yeah, the writing's still
you do have some characters I would consider as walls, like the random characters that their whole job there is just to be angry towards severed employees, but
yeah.
The most interesting characters are easily the characters within the actual Severance facility.
Yeah. The ones that are actually severed.
And that dude, that one, his sister's husband needs to just shut the heck up. But
the you are?
Yeah, no. I don't need your new age nonsense.
Exactly. Yeah. That dude comes across like if somebody called him a pansy, he'd run off crying.
That's what's going to happen to his kids.
Yeah.
No, it's you.
You go all Pennywise. No, I'm not a big stupid stinky poop.
I'm huge.
I'm a scary man. No, you're not.
South Park needs to make a skit out of that. I'm huge. It needs to be Cartman. Cartman needs to become a spider. And then they all bully him until he becomes tiny.
Yes.
He's no longer big bone.
Yeah. But yeah, the writing is solid so far. But if there's one big major gripe, it's the unsubtlety of it. I think you just brought it up. You have some characters who, it seems like their whole purpose is to yell at the main character for being severed.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could have done that a bit more subtly. Them just straight up walking up to him and being like, you shouldn't run from your problems. You should face them head on. It's like, thank you very much, show. We couldn't have figured that out ourselves.
Thank you. Let me proceed to kill your entire family, and let's see what you deal with it like.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have done with a bit more subtlety, but
You don't know why I said that. The main character's family died in a car crash.
yeah,
And the reason he got severed was so he could forget it for 8 hours a day.
yeah. And it's still up in the air on whether or not what's her name is actually severed or if she's like undercover.
Yeah.
Because she is the only severed person that
Seems
does not like where she's at.
So you figured so I actually put a thought in your head when you mentioned she seems to be the only one concerned about it.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to think she's not actually set.
Yeah. But I guess we'll see.
But the old woman, that one was at least decently subtle.
Mm-hmm.
We really were questioning it until she took a drill to one of the characters at his own funeral.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, she's definitely not severed. She knows.
And I'm pretty sure the black guy, the guy that's in charge of the main character's severed people.
Yeah.
He's not severed.
He's like the department leader.
Yeah.
No, the main dude's the department leader. He's like above that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then there's the whole nother topic we could go on, like why the founder, Kian, wants to be considered a friggin' god.
Yeah, it's a religion at this point now. It's a cult, is what it is.
They literally walk up to a picture of him standing above water, and he just says, Kian invites you to drink of his water.
Yes. Well, it makes sense. It's kind of realistic, and if somebody got the power to be able to do that to people's brains,
yeah,
they could just do anything to those people in there. Because when you're severed inside that building, that is your entire world as you're in there.
Yep.
So, like, that's a terrifying thought. Hopefully that never becomes a thing.
Oh, hopefully not.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we got on TV shows. Move on to TV show news, which I only got one, which is a Mass Effect TV show is in the works. We're in the age of game adaptations, which would be fine if all of them were on the level of like Arcane Season 1, but none of them are. So game adaptations are going into the era of the MCU slop. They're going to be the new slop, and just be prepared for all your favorite game franchises to now be a corporate crash grab. Chicken Jockey. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I am looking forward, however, to Henry Cavill's Warhammer series, because hopefully he can actually bring some talent to that.
Yeah,
and passion, because Henry Cavill with Geralt in the Witcher series, he actually had passion with that, because he actually played the games and he knows how Geralt is, and he played Geralt almost perfectly.
Yeah.
So, hopefully he can do something with the Warhammer series. Become one with the Omnissiah. Do you know who the Omnissiah is? Warhammer?
You know what I mean?
He's like a machine gun in Warhammer. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, guess we'll now get into our main topic, which is a biblical analysis on How to Train Your Dragon, the original, not the remake. Yeah. Apparently, what I've heard, the remake actually isn't bad. I've heard the remake is just essentially a 1-for-1 remake of the original.
Yeah.
It's just live action. So some people are like, it's worth it, and then some people are like, nah, just watch the original, because it doesn't really add anything to it. And Toothless looks too robotic-y and like he does.
Yeah, I looked at him. He looks very weird.
Yeah.
Like his style works very well animated, but it just don't with.
Yeah.
Live action.
And he also didn't stand up and start dancing, so.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he didn't do his little dance.
Astrid is, anyway.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
They made her black.
Bruh. Yes.
How you gonna have a black person in Scotland?
But anyway, How to Train Your Dragon is woke because strong women.
It's like how
and
Witcher 3 is racist because there's no black people in Scotland.
Poland. That's Poland.
Poland, I don't care.
That's an ancient, fictional Poland.
I don't actually care about that, by the way.
Yes.
as long as she played Astrid pretty well. But I don't really care for the movie.
But How to Train Your Dragon is woke though, because it's like strong women.
Strong women. Yeah.
Yeah, women shouldn't be. They should be in the kitchen.
Do you think we could go the opposite way and just say it was too masculine?
It was way too masculine. Because Stoic is
Stoic
is toxic masculinity.
That part where Stoic says, "You're not my son." I looked at Tristan and I said, "I'd say I want to slap him, but I'm pretty sure that man would fold me like a pretzel." See his arms?
Yep.
This man Russell's dragons for a living.
I listen. That was a critique in the live action, because in the animation he can punch dragons and it'd work in animation, but it's goofy in live action. Just he's a regular human just punching a gigantic reptile.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to say at least with this live action, as if people are saying that it's just a movie.
Yeah,
that's good because they didn't change too much.
Yeah, it's better than Lilo and Stitch, far better, because they didn't retcon anything and make a far worse plotline.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's what you need to do. Even if it just looks bad, as long as the story's the same and nothing has really changed.
Yeah.
So be.
Yep. But we're doing the original, because the original is always going to be the best, because they're the original. It's. I watched it for the first time last night, so we're kind of doing a reverse of what we did last week, where Chandler was the first to watch Lilo and Stitch. And Chandler, you're gonna probably have to help me with the plot line and stuff like that with this one,
man,
because last week with Lilo and Stitch, that was a childhood movie of mine, so I can spit out that plot line just without even watching it. Now, this one, I just watched it last night, so for the first time last night, so Chandler's going to have to help me on this.
Me and you can do an analysis on Kung Fu Panda sometime, being like, the main thing being running from your problems.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's the main overarching theme, where
for Jack
Poe's running from his own insecurities, and Shifu's trying to run from his mistake of training Tai Lung.
Yep.
I'm off top.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of old childhood that you can just have an analysis.
No, the reason I got off topic is both those movies, Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon 1, are in my top 5 of all time.
Yeah. Kung Fu Panda 1's great. I like it. But yeah, I just watched How to Train Your Dragon for the first time last night, and I think it's excellent. It's got, I mean, for one thing, it does. I hate that I have to bring this up as a good thing, because it used to be normal for stories back then, but nowadays they're not. It goes by therefore but writing, not and then writing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when things happen because other things cause it to happen, and then there's an effect of it. And both of those are shown and explored. It's not,
Oh, yeah.
They fight the dragons, and then Toothless shows up, and then Toothless somehow likes Hiccup, and then...
Yeah, like I pointed out when we got to the end of the movie, when I mentioned that when they got to the island, how you could trace back the steps that took to get here.
Yeah.
Because if any of them didn't happen, an entirely different plot line would have happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yes. And you'd have plot holes galore and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's actually excellent, and I like it, and I like the themes to it. So, and Chandler, you're going to have to Chandler, you have to help me as we go through this. So, the movie starts off with, it's introducing Hiccup and all the main characters. His dad, Stoic, is his name, I think.
Stoic.
Yeah. Who's the uncle?
You meant
Goober?
Goober the Belch, Gobber the Belch.
Gobber, yeah.
Like that.
Yes. And then you got Strong Women. What's her name?
Astrid.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. But so they're in their little like Viking camp village thingy.
Burke, I think is what it's called.
Burke. Okay. Yep. And it's introducing the dragons. The dragons come and attack them and is plundering them. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
And there's one specific dragon that they cannot see, and they cannot. None of them have ever... Well, okay, so Hiccup is, like, narrating each of the individual dragon types. And he's talking about how they kill them. You got the one that sets itself on fire and comes after the main people on it.
Yes.
Like Stoic and all them. And then you have the one that none of them have been able to catch. None of them have been able to fight. because it's kind of just like it zooms through and it never misses.
Yeah.
And it's called Night Fury, I think is what.
That's what they call him.
But Hiccup is able. Okay, so you explain again what Hiccup does to
To him?
To him, yeah.
Yeah, no, the Night Furies come out at night.
Yeah.
The reason they can't see him is because
grab my drink.
they are black. Completely black.
Oh, wow.
Well, that gets retconned in 3, but we don't talk about 3. Anyway,
So the movie's racist because they're black, and
okay, dude, okay.
Yeah.
But another thing that gets retconned in the other movies is that Hiccup is the only Night Fury.
yeah.
Hiccup's the only Night Fury?
In the original,
Hiccup
it's very clear that
Hiccup is the You said that like 4 times before that, finally realizing what you were saying.
Toothless.
Yeah. Toothless, yes.
Yes, but they fly through the sky really quick and just bomb towers.
Yes.
Yeah, his main job, because it's only him, is to take out their ballista towers.
Yes.
But Hiccup runs up with this contraption he made. He basically makes a crossbow ballista,
Yeah.
and he puts a bola onto it and shoots it.
Yeah. And he actually
He actually hits him, because if you didn't pay attention there, the animation's very subtle.
Yeah.
But Hiccup's looking in the sky, and you can actually see Toothless fly around.
Yeah.
Because the stars will go out.
Yeah.
Where he was.
Yeah.
And he shot at him and took him down.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that sets up that Hiccup is really good with his big thing is that he's very smart in engine. He's an engineer, is what he essentially is. But the thing about that is that he doesn't fit in with his clan.
Vikings.
Yeah. Because of that. So we have a theme of fitting in with like your clan, your people and all that. So yeah, so he hits Toothless, and Toothless goes flying down into like the forest out in the woods. And then after that,
Nobody believes him.
well, yeah. What was going on after that with him and Gubber and all them?
After that?
After he hits Toothless.
After he hits them, he tries to tell them, and then they just don't believe him. So they tell him to stay out of the way. They were mad because they blamed him
Yeah.
for the dragon being able to destroy more things.
Taking all their food, their sheets, and everything like that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, then after that, like Stoic and all them, they get ready to go off to what they think is the nest.
No, they're going to go find it.
Yeah. Well, it shows them showing up, and then you have that really like crazy shot where they're going into the mist, and then you have that split second, like, I don't know what was happening. Did they like throw a fireball or something? And it shows the silhouette of a dragon.
No, they just got attacked.
Oh.
Yeah, you got attacked by a dragon.
Yeah, because they show back up and they look like they came back from Vietnam and lost half their platoon. And,
Yeah.
Ships are all messed up and everything.
Yeah. But Hiccup goes to so throughout the whole thing, Hiccup is struggling with fitting in with his plan because he's compared to everybody else, he is very skinny, weak.
Yeah.
He's not a fighter. He's an engineer. He's smart.
Yeah.
And his father, like the whole culture that he is in, the son, his father is the leader, and the son, him being the son of the leader, it's highly, highly expected of him to be just like his father, to be a Viking dragon fighter, killer person thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you got ahead of yourself. Before they left to go there,
Yeah.
Him and his father Stoic and Belch got into a conversation because Belch wanted to put him in dragon training.
Yeah.
And of course his father didn't. He didn't think he could. And then Belch delivers one of the best deliveries. Yeah, he's like, no, you don't.
No.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The way he delivers that, it just sounds real.
Yeah.
Like he's genuinely talking to the other character.
Yeah.
It's really good acting.
Yeah.
But before he leaves, he decides to put him in the dragon training.
Mm-hmm.
But before we got to that, Hiccup went back out into the forest and found Toothless
Yeah.
and went to kill him.
Yeah.
But stopped.
Yeah. He Toothless looks at him, and he looks at him, and he can't kill.
Yeah,
So
he cuts him loose, and
Yeah.
one of the biggest plot points of the movie being that they're not what you seem is when if I say Hiccup, that one more time.
Toothless jumps hanging up.
Toothless jumps on Hiccup.
yeah,
I said Tickup.
names. Yes.
When Toothless jumps on Hiccup and Hiccup thinks he's dead,
Mm-hmm.
and then Toothless just screams at him, basically screams at him like, screw you, and then leaves.
Yeah. Toothless, like roars right in Hiccup's face and then runs away.
Yeah.
But Toothless cannot fly away.
Nah, he falls into a canyon
Yeah.
and gets trapped.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cause after that he's having a Hiccup is having a conversation with his father,
Yep.
and his father's talking about how he can. His father's getting like all excited about how he can, like how they're about to go away and he's going to go do this dragon training, and how he can like learn to fight dragon. And Hiccup is like, I don't think I can.
Hiccup's trying to argue with him, and he just keeps going, and then Hiccup's like, this sounds like a very one-sided conversation.
Yeah.
And then that's where the other theme comes in, his father refusing to change.
Yes. Yep. And so then they go off the next day to fight what they think is a dragon nest. Is it the dragon nest or?
No, they're trying to find it. It's in that mist. They know
Yeah.
it's in that
They're trying to
mist.
find it.
But
I just don't know where the
Yeah.
volcano is.
they couldn't find it. Remember, that's a plot point later that
Yeah.
only a dragon can actually get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then Hiccup goes, well, then you have the dragon training where they're learning to fight each of the dragons. Hiccup obviously is not able to like fight, do anything. You have all the other kids, teenagers, however old they are. They are able to fight and all that, but Hiccup is he's the like outlier.
Yeah.
He's not able to. You have the what's her name, Astrid?
Yeah, Astrid is the clear strongest
Yeah.
trying to fight. Then you have the two retarded twins.
Yeah.
You get the.
And then you have the guy who's the big nerd who read the book and
Yeah.
knows everything line by line.
Yes.
You have
And then you have the dude.
You have down bad.
You have down bad horny dude. That's all he is.
Yes.
Yep. So that's going on, and you have Belch, trying to train them.
Yeah.
Then interspersed with that is Hiccup going back to Toothless. And that's where we get, the scenes where he goes down to him. He realizes that he can't fly because he's missing a
tail.
Well,
You're getting ahead of yourself.
okay, well, yeah, go on.
I'm just saying you're getting ahead of yourself because you first have to get through the initial bonding thing where he gives them fish
Yeah.
and all that, and then he ends up drawing, and then Toothless wakes up, sees him drawing, and then draws as well.
Yeah, Toothless wakes up, sees him drawing, and then gets on his hind legs and waddles out.
Yeah, he waddles away,
Yeah.
and then he grabs a stick and he starts drawing, and then a funny scene where Hiccup turns and goes to step, and he steps on the line, and Toothless immediately starts growling.
Yeah, he's like, don't touch the line. It's whatever it is, it's artistically perfect.
Yeah.
You don't touch it.
After that, he ends up going back to the training where he's reading the book and realizes that there's no page for the Night Fury.
Yep.
But
Because nobody's ever caught one.
No, I've never caught one. I've seen one.
it's around this time after one of the things he starts to realize that there's something missing off of Toothless's tail.
Yeah, it's like a weight.
He doesn't recognize it while looking at Toothless. He recognizes it while at the training.
Yeah.
But I forgot why. But anyway.
Well, no. Remember, before he jumps down to him, he draws him.
Yeah, he draws, he erases it. But there's a part where he's doing the training or something, and afterwards he pulls back out the notebook and then draws it, and then he leaves the training early so he could go make
Mm-hmm.
another side.
Yeah. And throughout that bonding, Hiccup realizes kind of like the dragon's weaknesses, scratching them.
Pretty much.
Basically
Yes.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, scratching them
Pretty much they're dogs.
Yeah, scratching them underneath their head.
Grass makes them all.
Yeah, grass makes them go from Satan to a straight up puppy.
Yeah.
And then they hate eels. Yeah. So he starts using that.
Bed, you overgrown sausage.
Yeah. So he starts using that against the dragons in the training, and Belch, being the low IQ idiot that he is, thinks that for whatever reason, Hiccup is
a wizard.
Beating them. And so when Stoic comes back, Hiccup is super excited about telling him about not Hiccup. Belch is super excited about telling Stoic about Hiccup.
Yeah.
And that makes Stoic think that Hiccup is beating the dragons in the thing, so he wants to see it for himself. And, okay, you'll have to remind me what happens exactly after that.
Yeah, then they get to the last training match with...
Wait. Was it before this that Toothless takes him and... to the volcano?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because you have that last training match with, was it the two-headed one?
Yes.
No,
it was the one that sets itself on fire.
No, the training match. It was the blue one.
Oh yeah,
that pure climb. The one that Astrid flies. Because they said whoever wins this one gets to kill the dragon. And it just says stay out of my way, and then the dragon just jumps over, runs at Hiccup, and then Hiccup knocks him out doing the scratching.
Yeah.
So the elder decides, the very round-headed elder.
Yes, short and round. Yes.
Decides that Hiccup will be the one to fight.
Yeah.
That's when Astrid follows him to the woods.
Yes. Yeah.
To find out where he's been.
So I got ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then she starts, she hits Toothless with the hammer, or knocks him down. Toothless.
Hiccup.
It's Hiccup. Hits Hiccup. He falls on the ground. Then she drops the axe on him, and then that's when Toothless looks up and he's like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah.
And then comes charging in, and that's when all that happens. He picks her up. Toothless is angry because she's not apologizing, and then continues to be an absolute crazy psychopath. Thank you for nothing, you useless reptile.
Yes.
Then finally she apologizes, and that's when Toothless chills.
Yeah.
But that's when we get the plot line that only a dragon can find the nest, because Toothless hears the call of that thing.
Yeah.
And then jumps into with the pack.
Yeah.
And goes to the volcano, and you find out that the dragons were never fighting out of spite or evil. They were fighting out of necessity to survive.
Yeah.
Because they have this giant demonic-looking dinosaur creature.
Yeah, dinosaur dragon.
That's their...
it's as big as a mountain.
That will eat them if they don't.
Yep.
They escape, and then they go back to the village, and that's when Astrid's like, how are you going to explain this to Stoic? Because he's not going to listen to you, and she was right.
Yep.
So then they get into the actual arena to fight the...
Right.
Yeah, he gets in to fight...
Yes, yeah, and Stoic wants to watch because Belch kind of...
This is the main match. Stoic was always going to watch. He's the leader.
Yeah.
But Hiccup tried to show that they're not evil by trying to be friendly with it, and it was working until Dillweed Stoic gets up and smacks the edge of the cage with his hammer.
Yeah.
And that sound sets off the dragon, and all hell breaks loose.
Yep.
And while Hiccup's screaming, Toothless hears it all the way from the canyon and climbs his way out.
Yeah, because we also got that plot line where it shows Hiccup engineering the new propeller, and he tests them out. It doesn't work. He tests multiple things out until it actually works.
It shows that Toothless is 100% relying on Hiccup to fly.
Yeah, because that's the only way the tail can open.
Yeah.
Is with him on there.
Yeah. But he gets out. Toothless gets out. He goes to
the
match thing. Yeah, and
he busts in and he fights off the dragon, but then everyone attacks it because they realize it's a Night Fury.
Yeah,
and they've never seen one. And they're all dillweeds.
Yeah,
and no one will listen to Hiccup, so they take the dragon, and then it cuts to the next scene where I would say Stoic literally launches Hiccup 30 feet
Yeah.
into his house.
Yeah.
Starts yelling at him, and then Hiccup accidentally lets loose that he's been to the nest.
Yeah.
And then he says that only a dragon could find it. So then Stoic leaves in one of the most heartbreaking parts of the movie, where he just says, "You're not one of us, and you're not my son."
Yep.
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 And then he leaves, and they gear up, and they all sail out with Toothless chained to one of the ships
Yeah.
to go find the nest.
Yeah, because Toothless can hear, I guess, the call of the dragons or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the call of that one.
Yeah.
Which is why it gets freaking Dragon too. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yes. So Stoic realizes that Toothless can hear something, and so he ends up steering the
He
ship.
starts steering it wherever he's looking.
Yeah. And then, being the dillweeds that they are, they come to the mountain.
They get there. They like, we're gonna fight all these dragons. They throw a bunch of rocks. It breaks open a hole. Then they shoot a fireball in. You just see all the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the dragons fly out, and you got these edges. They're swinging at the air. They're like, "Come here, get me!" They all fly away.
Yeah.
And then Belch is like, "Was that it?"
Yeah.
And then they're all screaming, "We did it!" And they don't realize that the dragons were flying away, not because they were afraid of the Vikings, but because they just launched a fireball in there and hit their leader.
Yep.
That will kill anything in its path when it's angry.
Yeah.
That's when the Stoic's like, "Oh, we've not, there's something else." And then the dragon, big one, busts through the wall.
Yep.
And that's when Stoic literally says, "I've been a fool."
Yep.
And he tells, but before we get to that, it'll cut back to Hiccup, where Hiccup finally, where Astrid basically coerces him to explaining that he didn't kill Toothless because Toothless looked as scared as he was.
Mm-hmm. He saw himself in Toothless.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then they end up training.
He ends up showing all of them to train their own dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it cuts back, and then
I got the thing is they said the thing.
It's like Stoic's like,
wait, hold up. But we got a nitpick. The big dragon, its wingspan should be like
we're not there. Stoic tells everyone to leave, and Belch is like, "Why?" And he's like, "I can stay back and buy some time because Stoic blames himself. He realizes finally then that he should have listened to Hiccup.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm gonna buy some time if I give it something to attack." And then Belch is like, "I can double that time." So they start trying to fight it, but that's when Hiccup and them fly in.
Yeah.
And then you get another scene where Toothless falls into the water, chained up. Hiccup goes to get him, and Hiccup passes out from air, and his dad pulls him out, and you, for a second there, think this mofo's gonna let Toothless die.
Yeah.
But then Stoic jumps back in, breaks Toothless out, and then Toothless pulls Stoic out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the final big fight sequence
with the big dragon.
Where we can say that his wingspan should be like nearly double what it is for the size. Okay, anyway. That was an actual review.
It's an animation. Like, if realistically, sure, but it's an animation. Like, there's some things you just go, especially kids' animation, you just gotta let it go.
I mean, do you see the big old fat dragon that the one dude, right? His wings are that small. How in the heck are they?
Yeah. Well, in order for that to happen, they'd have to flap really fast.
I mean,
because big bumblebees, their wings are not that big, but their wings go.
Yeah, they end up beating him, by using Toothless's greatest power, which is disappearing in anything darkness.
Yeah.
And then he ends up falling and literally snapping his neck from thousands of feet.
What he follows with his mouth open. I can just imagine his mouth goes.
Then Toothless also shoots a fireball inside the mouth.
Yeah, he shoots a fireball. Yeah, because they realize that they're not fireproof on the inside.
No, if it has a gas.
This was an adult R-rated animation. That would have been a nasty part when he fell on the ground.
Stoic goes up to Toothless and was like, apologizing profusely because he thinks Hiccup is dead, but then Toothless reveals that he had Hiccup the whole time.
Yep.
because he's fireproof on the outside. So he wrapped a Hiccup up in his wing, but Hiccup lost his leg. That's basically where the movie ends, with the whole town has now changed. All of Burke has now changed to have dragons. Like how the intro started saying, our pests, some people have rats and other rodents, they have dragons. The ending of the movie ends with them saying, we have pets. Some people have rabbits and something else, but we have dragons. It's completely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the opposite of pests.
Yeah, yep. So, on a biblical analysis thing, from what I've seen on that, the big thing I see on that is, like, the whole fitting in and trying to, conform to a standard of culture that, like, the culture and family that you're in.
Yeah.
And feeling like you have to conform to that when that's not how you're wired. Now, we have to kind of be careful with that, because some people can run with that and be like, yeah, I'm wired to be a complete jerk and
yeah, I was born in the month of October, so I'm a Scorpio.
But what I mean by that is, like, for instance, like, Hiccup is expected to be a big burly Viking.
Yeah.
Viking dragon killer, just like his father. But that's not how he was wired. He was wired to be an engineer, and he's not a fighter. So, like, that's who he is. And part of, in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, so, because God wired us all to be different in the sense that we each have our own gifts, and we're kind of like a machine in the sense of you have different components of the machine. Well, Paul actually uses the image of a body, like how you have eyes, nose, mouth, ears, arms, legs, and the eye should not say to the nose, like, or ears, like, I'm not you, why can't I be you? Like, we each have our own part to play. And so Hiccup obviously did not need to be a big burly Viking dragon killer. There were already plenty of those in there. He was an engineer, and that's how he was wired, and that's why he could brought to the table there, was engineering things. And that's what the movie shows. And we as Christians, especially within the church, we recognize that different people are wired differently, and they have different gifts, and each person should be able to use those gifts to help better the body, instead of having everybody conform to, like, one specific gift. Like, we recognize that they have different ones, and they contribute and all that. And it's not just the church either. It's in a whole bunch of other, like, just the family in general. Like, you have a lot of parents who will expect their kid to, like, play a sport, be a certain thing, and their kid turns out to be wired completely different.
Yeah.
And the parent has to wrestle with that kind of disappointment, but it's kind of a good thing for them to do so, because what it does is it makes them put to death their expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I see on that. Is there is there any other thing that you would get from How to Train Your Dragon?
Well, like I said, the one of,
and all this process
from a
biblical perspective.
They had this imposed hatred for the dragons.
Yeah.
Thinking that they only attack because they hate the humans.
Yeah.
But in reality, they were doing it out of necessity for survival.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another good thing too, is like if you process that, because all this is us processing it from the things from a biblical perspective. Yeah, because from the Vikings' point of view, they were being attacked and plundered by these dragon creatures. But from the dragon's point of view, they were doing it because they would get eaten from a big giant dragon. And so, yeah, that's a good theme of, like, instead of hating. Now, obviously, we got to be careful because we don't want to just justify any people, like, coming and stealing stuff and committing crime and all that. But it is always a good thing to look at where the root cause of that is. Like, why are they doing that? Is there a reason? Like, are they doing it because they're they feel like it's the only way they can, get by and all that. And when we see stuff like that, like we try and, instead of completely villainizing and never looking at the root cause, it's always good to look at the root cause and have some compassion and then try to take out that root cause, like change it and make things better. Because that's what happens with the Vikings and the dragon. Hiccup and all them, they realize what the dragons were actually doing and relays it accidentally to Stoic, and then Stoic, they end up dealing with the root cause just
Stoic completely refuses to believe that they were being controlled, basically.
Yeah.
So he goes there thinking that Hiccup's just exaggerating and then they're going to have to fight a ton of dragons.
Yeah.
He had no idea they were about to fight the mother of all dragons.
Yeah. Yep.
That gets retconned in the second movie. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just
the actual mother. Where the heck was this alpha from the freaking second movie I had the whole time?
Yes.
And why can he control the dragons just by going? So true. So true.
Yes. But yeah, that's how we process the themes from How to Train, the original How to Train Your Dragon. I guess you could also say the remake, as it's basically just a 1-for-1. That's how we process those things from a biblical perspective. It's, not trying to live up to expectations that are man-made and not from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, understanding that God has wired people differently, and there are different gifts that they bring.
Yeah.
And skills and stuff like that work more like a body, where it's different parts that work when working in tandem. Do what God has called us to do. So, and then you have the, not looking at the root cause of the reason why, certain people may resort to crime and all that, from like how the dragons come in and plunder things.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we process that. So yeah. Anything else?
No.
So yeah, that's what we got. How to Train Your Dragon, great. The first one, the first original, I highly recommend it. Fantastic. The remake, maybe. If you want to.
Wait for it to come to like streaming.
Yeah.
To watch it.
Yeah. It's apparently not bad. It's just a 1-for-1 remake. So yeah. Anyway, thank y'all for listening or watching. It's greatly appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you really like what we do, want to support us. It'll help us out greatly. Anyway, thank y'all for watching or listening. We love y'all. God bless y'all, and we will see you all next time. Peace.